We are back, folks. Sorry about the little bit of an extended delay there, but we're going to get right into the picks and bans here between Team Pandemonium and Corvidae. Team Pandemonium took a game number one in pretty convincing fashion. Corvidae, still using a sub though, put up a decent fight there, Alpha.
Yeah, it was a great game for them overall. They took some initiatives. They tried to make stuff happen, but unfortunately, Team Pandemonium just with the superior rotations and shot calling ability meant that they took that game overall. And pick some bans going into game two. I wouldn't be surprised to see them stay mainly the same, but Team Pandemonium are going to be the blue side for this game.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a Ratatoska ban out from Corvidae, perhaps maybe even a Freya ban, just for the amount of damage that Maxim was able to output from the ADC position. Even if if they feel like it was too impactful, a Neath ban could come through as well, because Ochita got a couple of key World Weaver ultimates off and was able to get a lot of pressure in that mid lane. Erlang Shen, the first ban here from Team Pandemonium, so obviously that's something Kikyo perhaps not comfortable playing against or comfortable playing on, and they just want to deny it to Cryopredator. And there it is, the Freya ban coming out of Corvidae.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Pandemonium ban away in Alquang as well, because Trilogy for the Jungle, he did some work on that Alquang. It was one of the annoying factors, and there it is, an Alquang ban. It was an annoying factor for Pandemonium to deal with, and it put them on a clock, put them under a bit of pressure, and maybe that pressure of saying Alquang's going to get to late game, we're going to lose, is some of the reasons why they were a bit sloppy. Raijin taken away from Corvidae, just denying that first pick potential to Pandemonium, but Terra has been left open, as well as Fafnir, so I think it's going to be a Terra first pick, and there it is.
Yeah, there's the Terra pick. Very, you know, very simple to put there. A lot of lane control, a lot of healing coming through, a lot of CC. The global ultimate as well is very effective. At rank 1, it gives you a 20% cooldown reduction for everyone on your team, and you don't have to use mana. And at rank 5, it's 40% cooldown reduction as well, plus like a 40% movement speed increase as well. Like, it does so many things. It does all of the things. Sol and Susano now picked up here for Corvidae. Sol, I'm actually very surprised at that 0% win rate. We've seen her be effective in the OPL, but unable to pick up a win, I suppose. That's very strange to me.
Raven and Chingwei going to be picked up by Pandemonium, and already this is a very scary lineup. The Terra Chingwei lane combination is the stuff of nightmares, because it's root into guaranteed knockup, into guaranteed damage from both Terra and Chingwei. Raven in the solo lane, a very dominant solo lane bully, and it's up to Corvidae right now to draft accordingly and make sure that they pick something which, whilst they will have to give it pressure, will be safe underneath the tower no matter what. Athena can do that, and maybe even able to outpressure the Terra in terms of wave clear. Janus and Neath are going to be the bans so far.
So it's surprising me to see the Neath ban from Team Pandemonium, considering that they're the ones that played it very well. But I guess with a Jingwei already picked up, you don't want to have two physical guards in your ADC and mid position, and they want to get some magical damage down there. Terra, while she does a fair bit of wave clear damage, doesn't necessarily do the highest amount of player damage. Last bans coming through: Naja banned for Corvidae, Vimana banned for Team Pandemonium. So looking once again to give Kiki and Mio a favorable matchup in the solo lane. Thor picked up here for Corvidae, so that tells you that Susano is gonna be a solo lane pick.
It could also be a mid lane pick if you put Sol into that ADC position with a Sol Athena lane. Sol very safe against the Chingwei Terra, despite the fact that she is no longer immune to roots with that Disapparate. The Disapparate will still get her out of danger, get out of a lot of ability damage from Jingwei and Terra. So that's also a possibility. Humbats and Vulcan for Pandemonium. Humbats gives a lot of control under the jungle role with that being a Weevil, and Vulcan, very safe and high pressure, high damage mid laner in the meta right now. Certainly, in my opinion, the top pick mid laner.
And the Noir is going to be a final gear for Corvidae, so something that can get a little bit of lane pressure out. Not the greatest, and especially up against the Vulcan, but something that's extremely safe for Prensel with the Fire Shards ultimate. A good stun, a good amount of CC coming out from that mid laner as well, with the Clay Minions and Shiny Metal combination. But overall, not a terribly strong mid laner, but just something that I guess that they were left over with.
And don't forget, the minions were recently buffed. Their AI was changed, so no matter where you spawn, it will always go to the nearest target, and the priorities for them are different. Calcification a bit late on this rotation back to the camps. He did manage to put a couple wards out over on this left-hand side and this right-hand side respectively, but struggling to clear a bit. But this is the first time, though, that Ro has not picked up Wrath. Instead, has gone into the Purification. because the amount of CC coming out from Corvidae is just too much to handle, and he would get caught out consistently if he picked up that Wrath.
And the Thor walls as well, I think, are the big point here as well. The Thor walls can completely lock off Ratatoska from going, the Hornbats from going in one direction, and will be forced to use his jump. If you get caught in that Thor wall as well, you're going to get a lot of CC applied to you from the Susano as well, with his knockouts, with his pull-ins as well. It's just something he can't afford to risk.
Left-hand side, Pure Mana Classification actually having the pressure so far. They got to lane first, and that's usually how it goes for the first couple waves. But Max and Richard Castle, they will not want to have this lane just go down this easily. They're going to push up as aggressively as possible, and there it is.
A lot of tick damage, a lot of wave clear coming through from Team Pandemonium. Casification, Pure Might though, doing a lot of return damage here to Richard Castle and to Maxon. But in the end, Richard Castle stopping the minions from going, or all the minions from going under tower. So Maxon able to get some gold in return.
Richard Castle already down to a bit of a low HP and forced to use a meditation early on. But it's not the end of the world simply because Corvidae don't have a meditation by themselves as well. So the healing offset is still going to be good in favor of Team Pandemonium. Again, a double taunt though. Richard Castle and Maxon positioning not the greatest against this Athena.
Looking a little more closely at today's team composition as well, I like the global presence coming out of the Athena and the semi-global presence coming out of the Thor. If they can get both of those working in concert, they can get themselves across the map and rotate effectively to counter the lesser global presence of Team Pandemonium.
I'm not going to solo lane right now. Cryopraetor is getting absolutely dominated by Kikiamiyo on this Raven. It's not looking pretty right now. Any single time Cryo's just gone up anywhere near the wave, it's been Roots into 10-hand Shadow. It's been 10-hand Shadow Fist into Prana Onslaught into Overhead Kick, and it's just most of his HP has just disappeared.
But make no mistake, once that Susano hits level 5 and gets his Typhoon Ultimate online, the knock-up from that can, absolutely devastate someone because you can knock up, pull them back in, do a ton of damage, or pull them back into your minions, and next thing you know, you're dead. But Kikiamiyo definitely getting the better of this matchup so far, doing so much damage to Cryopraetor, forcing the dash away. Mystic Rush as well, but an excellent jet stream from Cryopraetor will keep himself alive, and Kikiamiyo now running free, able to clear these minions.
It's getting closer and closer to being able to 100-0 with 10-hand Shadow Fist, Prana Onslaught, and Overhead Kick combo. And he's going to have to be very careful of this. If he pushes up further again and again and again, one of these times Kikiamiyo is going to catch him and he is going to die. Left-hand side, right-hand side of these elementals are going to go the way of Team Pandemonium. Trilogy, he's got the Wrath online. I would like to see him, Prenzel, look for a potential speed buff invade, considering that Ro and Cheetah are both backing.
They could look for it, but they don't have the vision on that side of the map. They don't know that they're backed or that they're just coming out of base. In their minds, they could be on those buffs and looking for an invade there, could cost them a kill or two and then losing that on their own buffs. So choosing to play a little bit more conservatively, and that's just the cost of not having effective vision out there.
Well, they do have effective vision in the Noir ultimates. A lot of people just utilize it for damage, but utilizing it as a vision mechanic to say, right, they're over on this side. We know this for certain. Let's go to this side of the map instead and get some pressure there. They used the Noir ultimate there. They want to see that both of them were backing. Both of them were back at base, even if they used it at a different time. And then we're able to invade onto that speed buff for pretty much free.
Left-hand side mid-camp is going to fall to Team Pandemonium as we hit the 4-minute mark in this game. You're looking to come contest here, but unable to get it down before Cheetah secures it with that Magma Bomb. Right-hand side mid-camps are up, but Trilogy hiding in the Gold Fury pit, perhaps looking for a gank here onto Maxon. Maxon, though, is very safe as a Jingwei. Trilogy not choosing to pull the trigger here. Gonna cost him some farm in the mid lane and gonna cost Corvidae, the right-hand side mid-camps. Now he's back at the Gold Fury. He's very indecisive here, Trilogy. And as well as that, Pandemonium can play extremely safe because they're spotting him out with these wards.
And also mention that as well, but over on this right-hand side, Ro got to invade onto the blue buff. Kikiamiyo has that round as well. Cryopraetor not having the benefit of infinite mana. Gonna get aggressed on once again by Kikiamiyo, but landing from his ultimate is Trilogy, not able to dunk on absolutely anyone from that Gold Fury pit. Maxon played this one safe and by the book.
As well as that, Pure Might lead the wave there as well, so Maxon was very happy to just sit back at the front of his tower because he knew he'd still get farm coming to him. If Pure Might perhaps had done something.
Oh, Trilogy gonna get taken down. The Fiona Weevil into the Vulcan Earthshaker ultimate is just too much to handle. Good stun onto Classification, but it's just gonna be the one kill for those two ultimates, and they're gonna be fine with it.
The first blood there going to Team Pandemonium. Trilogy falls down. It's definitely not where you want to be as a Thor. Being behind this Thor is very bad. especially this early in the game when it's your time to shine. If you're not dealing effective damage at this point, you're pretty useless to your team. You provide some CC, but you die before you can really do any damage.
It's not the fact that he's just behind. He is very far behind for 5.5 minutes into the game. Look at the level difference. It's level 8 to level 6 in the jungle, and Ro currently sitting 700 gold ahead. Cryoprator getting a kill over in the solo lane by himself. Ro gets the rotation kill, but Cryoprator getting a solo kill into Kikyo.
And that's the power of the Typhoon ultimate coming out from the Susanoo. Just the knock-up, the amount of damage he's able to output with that, as well as the Storm Carter. Kikyo overplayed his hand.
Overdose left-hand side, Castigation going in for the taunt onto Maxon. Takes a lot more damage he would have liked for that aggression. And Maxon is going to get healed over by the Monolith as well as the Meditation coming out from Richard Castle. He doesn't need the Shell, doesn't need the Blink on Terra, just this Meditation gives him extra healing, gives him extra survivability in this lane, and it's just so much more difficult to deal with this dual lane because of it.
You can see Max and Richard Castle looking for the boars there. Not going to find it as Case Vision and Pure Might rotate back in. I want to take a look at player damage quickly. We can see Kikyo is on top, but being followed by Cryoprator. And, Trilogy right down the bottom there with only 100 damage. Ochita gets a kill onto Trilogy yet again. Now Team Pandemonium can evade this red buff. Richard Castle and Max and keeping Case Vacation and Pure Might very busy from the second side. Might even find a kill here with the help of the Terror's Blessing, but in the end, it's going to be enough to steal red buff. Ro comes in looking for Case Vacation under tower. Great taunt there by Case. Keeps himself alive and an excellent Supernova ultimate from Pure Might as well. Ro taking a lot of damage. Maxon secures Case Vacation under the tower. And Ro picks up Pure Might between the tier 1 and the tier 2.
Just constantly leashing tower aggro, making sure that someone's not tanking it for too long, not taking too much damage. Brenzel late on this rotation. Trilogy late on the rotation as well. Pandemonium have control over the entirety of the map. And this time it's not coming out from Ro's Wrath, it's coming out just from the place that they are doing it, the ultimates that they have online, and really it's down to this Richard Castle Terra pick that's giving them this pressure.
It's not a global presence, if that makes sense. It's not something that will give them a lot of damage across the map, but what it does is it just allows your teammates to do that little bit extra. It's really a great support ability. Your teammates all do better. It doesn't give you anything, but it helps your teammates out. Well, it gives you a bit of a benefit as well, but you don't get gold from assists from it, which I think, if you get assists from Gibalanke, you should get assists from Terrazol, but that's beside the point. It's such a tremendous support ability. You get the increased movement speed, you get mana cost reduction, you get reduced cooldown reduction, you get a heal as well if you hit 4 times. It's just such a great ability, and that allows his teammates to just push a little bit extra. And when they're already top players in pretty much all of their roles, that just allows them to dominate their opponents.
Terra's Blessing does so much for an ultimate ability. Like, yes, ultimates are meant to be the main focal point of a kit, but it just does too much in my opinion. Gold Fury being started up here by Corvidae. They're going to leash it though, as Pandemonium to make their rotation. They're actually forcing out the Earthshaker ultimate as well, so that's a complete win. Kikyo also teleporting over Pure Might, caught between a rock and a hard place, separated from the rest of the fight, which is taking place on this left-hand side of Harpies.
So, right there, that's a Mystic Rush ultimate for a Supernova ultimate, completely worth in Team Pandemonium's eyes, which is the cooldown reduction. Oh, not even cooldown reduction, just to the low cooldown coming out of that Mystic Rush ultimate. Gold Fury being started. Trilogy taking a lot of damage here. Trilogy falling down to Ro and Kikyo. And now Pandemonium able to aggress around this Gold Fury. Pure Might doing some damage here. Casification loading up his dash, but there's nothing around for him to really taunt into. There's no damage there. Great walls there from Richard Castle. A lot of leaps coming out of Team Pandemonium. Casification jumps away. Airstrike from Maxim, but that's just to close the gap. And Ro picks up the kill onto the Athena. Cryoprator as well. Typhoon Ultimate gets a second kill onto Kikyo. So Cryoprator dominating his lane opponent, but unfortunately Pandemonium is dominating the rest of his team.
Maxon is a bit low. Cryoprator notices he wants to go for the kill, but Richard Castle's presence there just means he cannot. There it is, the knock him into the dash and the heal from this Monolith. They can't really engage into this, and they're going to try to anyway. They don't have a support here, they don't have a front line, there's no tank. But that's going to be called in with the reinforcements thanks to the Defender of Olympus.
Corvidae, though, unable to really get anything off back of this. They could look for the Gold Fury here. Trilogy is up, does have his Wrath online. Earthshaker is, however, up for Ochita, who can look for that steal, but ultimately, the Wrath is a better secure at this stage of the game than the Volcanoc. Gold Fury very low here. There's the Earthshaker. Ultimate Team Pandemonium takes out the Gold Fury as Roe and Maxi get a kill. Ochita gets a double kill, and oh my goodness, Corvidae, it was all going okay for them at that point, and it all came undone.
Having a look at the graphs, just how bad it went for them, they were about 6,000 experience, 4,000 gold behind. They've just doubled that, essentially, in terms of the gold lead. It's now up to 7,000. Experience difference just pushing shy of 10,000. Could even be doubled now with this tier 2 tower being taken down. Going from 6,000 experience difference to about 10.5 right now.
Left-hand side, tier 1 fours. Kikyomiya is pressuring the right-hand side. Pandemonium pressuring every single lane right now. Teleport forced out from Corvidae into the middle lane. Kikyomiya is going to take this tier 1 tower on the right-hand side, and Ochita gets a wave all the way up to the tier 2 on the left-hand side.
It's been fantastic positioning, fantastic rotations from Pandemonium that Corvidae just have not been able to deal with. I'm having a look right now at the player damage. It speaks volumes right now. Kikyomiya on top. Cryopracer, though, sitting at about 4th. Not where you would expect it to be, but Noir. You'd expect Noir to be one of the highest damaging gods in the game, currently sitting at 4th. We're sitting at 3rd just before that, but Thor down at 2nd to bottom. It's not where you want to see Thor at all.
Especially not 12 minutes into the game. This is the time he's shining. He's level 10. I mean, and he should be about level 12, level 13. It's just not working out for him at all. He hasn't even been able to finish Void Shield.
So the question is, do you think that Corvidae would have been better served picking a traditional warrior solo lane and putting the Susano into the jungle? Or was the Susano in the solo lane really what keeping this game together for them?
Absolutely, the Susano needs to be in the jungle, because he's provided damage in the solo lane. In the jungle, he can provide damage across the map. So, absolutely, Susano's too strong in the jungle to not have that. I don't understand it in the solo lane. Yes, he got a kill against Kikyomiya, but in the end, that's not as worth it as getting a few kills out of the jungle.
Frenzel under trouble in this mid tier 2. There's 4 members of that. Now comes the Earthshaker ultimate. Going to be avoided though because he's got round the side of the wall. Ochita, no setup there. Very difficult to hit that ultimate. Pulled in is Rogue Cryopracer. Stopping that overhand smash. It's good play.
It was a bit more of a zoning ultimate, really, to cancel away from possibly defending this tower. Roe in a bit of a bad position here. There's the Typhoon, but Roe avoids it and blinks through the wall, actually. Had avoided the damage long enough for him to be able to get that blink available to him. Tier 2 tower on the right-hand side is taken down by Team Pandemonium. Keisha dashes in, taunts in too, but everyone's higher level than him, and everyone is dealing damage to him. Kikyomiya taken to about half HP here, but Team Pandemonium, 5-man ultimate from Roe. Airstrike comes through from Maxon, and now Trilogy forced up into the sky, but he's not going to be able to do anything. Richard Castle gets a kill on occasion. Trilogy land used his abilities, but did no damage to Ochita.
Double knockup into double stun from the striking Earth. This right side Phoenix under a lot of pressure. Pretzel falls down as well. Ochita with a very delayed triple kill. Pure might in the facing. What happened to the rest of my team? What's happening to my right hand side? What's happening to this game? Pandemonium running amok right now and showing just that last game. Corvidae, you did well, but this is exactly how we're going to play for the rest of the split, and it's going to be devastating.
Yeah, so last game, Pandemonium probably didn't take it as seriously as they probably should have, and they had a lot of sloppy mistakes that we don't typically see out of them. Have definitely addressed them going forward into this game.
Well, Rose decided to go back to basics and give himself a winged blade rather than going into a pure penetration build like he usually does. And it's been fantastic from him. But Ochita has really been the shining star for this game. 6-0 and 5 on that Vulcan. Has massive pressure around the entirety of the map, especially with that Earthshaker ultimate, hitting 2-3 people most of the time. He whiffed the last one, okay, but I'll let him off for that one.
15,000 experience, 13,000 gold, the difference between these two teams. 15-2 reads the kills. Not really much at all Corvidae can do from here. They don't even have a particularly late game team comp.
The only thing I would say is really late game about their team comp is the push potential coming out from Noir and Sol. They haven't got that much going for them to be able to get the split push going. Right side, speed buff going to be potentially invaded on the Corvidae defending it with their lives. Roe wants this. Kikyomiya's here as well. Alchespina Weevil, calcification quite low. Going to be taken down potentially. No, not so quite. Yeah, Mystic Rush is going to be used. And it's could close the distance. And Kikyomiya gets the first kill at this fight.
And look at this. Pandemonium's winning a fight 4v5 as Max is pushing on the left-hand side. Kikyomiya gets himself a double kill here. So definitely, enjoying himself now after getting soloed in lane by Cryopracer. And he's just having a good old time of it, jumping down the right-hand side. Middle Phoenix is down as well. 5 minutes pouring in from two sides of the map. Tier 2 tower on the left-hand side falls down. Pandemonium looking for the left-hand side Phoenix.
They got the right-hand side, left-hand side Phoenix, definitely the next best one to take. Pure Might quite low back in the middle of his base, but the Disaperate gets him out of trouble. Achieving Kikyo by themselves is zoning quite well. The Claim Indian Explosion not going to be on the mark there. Kikyo torn it back in, taking a lot of damage, but the overhead kick gets him out. Left-hand Phoenix falls down, and the 16 minutes in, 5 minions already in 2 lanes, already in 3 lanes. Mid Phoenix also falls down. This is very, very quick game.
Pandemonium obviously heard us talking about all their mistakes last game, and we're obviously like, all right. Weren't that many mistakes, and now they're coming back and showing us exactly what they can do and exactly why at the moment they're being, they've quietly been earmarked as the team that's probably going to represent OCE at Worlds.
All right, so have a look at Road's build and tell me when you see it.
The Watcher's Gift. Yeah. And he just wants more gold, man. He just wants more gold.
Forget Fafnir being a greedy dwarf. I think Rose being a greedy dwarf at this point.
Hey, that's offensive. He is actually like a dwarf. I'm kidding. He's just short. Don't call him a dwarf. He'll get offended by that.
He's not a dwarf. He's just small boned.
Yeah. He's a what do they call it? A little person. I believe that's the politically correct term for it.
Yeah, maybe. But the Watcher's Gift, it's 800 gold. It gives him a lot more of accelerated farm. It gives him a bit of healing as well for every single minion or monster or any camp really that's around him when it dies. So it's good for him right now. If he feels like the game's going to end any second now, it's always worth it just to pick up that one thing for 800 gold that you know is going to be very worth it in terms of cost efficiency.
I want to take a look at how much gold in hand does he have. He has 800 gold in hand here. Doesn't have a power pot online, so could potentially back and look for that one if he wanted to, or could have bought that one before. But instead, it looks like Team Pandemonium is going for the end here. Casification has already fallen down. Only 4 members left of Corvidae to try and defend this Titan, and it's simply not going to happen. The minions can probably end it before Team Pandemonium get a choice to. Earthshaker ultimate comes through, and Cryfight is nearly killed in the fountain. Trilogy comes slamming down, but does no damage to Roe and Richard Castle. In fact, they're doing all the return damage. Great walls there from Richard Castle. Secure the kill for Roe. Maxon doing some damage. Right-hand side Phoenix has respawned, but 5 minions will take care of that one soon enough. Corvidae's middle Phoenix has respawned as well, but there's 5 minions already attacking that one. 5 minions have already taken that one down. Kikimio takes a lot of damage and actually dies right here at the end of the game. Titan at our 50% HP. Panda struggling to end here a little bit, although I feel like they're just trying to farm some kills, pad their stats a little bit. In the end, though, they clean out the game and they clean out the series 2-0.
Very, very dominating performance from Pandemonium. Corvidae, 18 minutes, and you got 3 kills. Thor fell so far behind. The drafting phase, it was going so well for them, then the second banning phase happened, and the second picking phase happened.
Corvidae showing some promise in game 1, 2 though, all Team Pandemonium, and now we are joined by the captain and jungler of Team Pandemonium, Ro. So Ro, game 1, a little bit closer than what people thought it was going to be. Game 2 seems to be kind of how we saw this matchup going. I won't say anything went wrong in game 1, but, what happened for such an extreme turnaround in game number 2?
Well, I mean, first of all, I don't think game 1 was really close. We just had a few stupid deaths. Me, pretty dumb walking into that Ricochet, and once walking into a Phoenix for no reason. But I don't think the game was close at all. We had the lead the entire time, as far as I know. But game 2, I think we just cleaned it up. Game 1, that was like our first Conquest game after playing XTM for like a full week. So
we do have to congratulate you. You're currently top of the leaderboard for XTM, I believe.
Yeah, yep.
And
you're not anymore.
I know, because you dropped me for Destroyer 720.
Yeah, no one know me.
Alrighty, so the Ao Kwong pick did a lot of work in game 1. Couple of situations, Kikimio got caught out with that by that execute. Is that something that you're going to have to focus a little bit more on, or were you guys just not expecting the amount of power it was able to output?
I think that's just Kiki underestimating the Ao Kwong. If you look at both games, he didn't place a single ward in either game. So I think he's playing a little bit cocky on the Raven. So he needs to clean that up a little bit, and we'll remove some of those deaths.
Definitely sounds like Kikimio not placing any wards. I've seen some casuals, man.
I mean, it's just Raven forehead, I think.
Yeah. Alpha, any questions for our guest?
Where do you feel Wrath is currently sitting in terms of position on a Relic tier list?
I mean, it has its pros and cons, but I wouldn't even have a Relic tier list. Everything has its pros and cons. You buy Wrath if you want early game. You can't buy it against heavy CC comps. I don't think one is better than the other. Obviously, you'll see one more common than the other. Wrath is more my playstyle because I enjoy like fighting in the early game and hogging buffs helps with that. But I think it's just as good as any other active.
Do you feel like the nerfs to Raven have made him any less of a viable pick?
The adjustments, no, I think he's just as he was before.
All right, and do you have any shoutouts you'd like to give?
Shoutouts for Husey for the XTM coach. Good luck to Avant next week. Seems to be having some pretty biggie problems, but it'll be pretty interesting.
Jesus.
Thank you very much, Troy, for joining us. We'll let you go now. Speaking of Avant-Garde, we have them up next against old rivals Alpha Sydney. We're going to take a short break and then be right back with the rest of the broadcast.